Hey guys, and welcome to Quality Shot. As always, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel, click that notification bell to make sure you get alerted to all new videos, and of course, like and comment on the videos. Thank you very much, and share if you want as well. Okay, let's go straight through this then. Day 5 of the Aussie Open, and to be honest with you, the men's, I think, today had more surprise and twists and turns than the women's. Today, I would say anyway, personally. So let's go through the men's firstly. Okay, so through Djokovic. Oh man, I mean, first of all, this was a day a little bit of injuries, wasn't it? Because Djokovic was 2 sets to love up against Fritz, the American and 27 seed, and just picked up a niggle, and it might be a tear actually. I think, and I think it's a shoulder injury that he says he may have had before. He actually doesn't know if he's going to be able to play the next round, but anyway, he was 2 sets to love up. Fritz came back into it partly and mainly, really, actually, due to that injury. Took the next 2 sets, and at 2 sets, all you're thinking Fritz might actually go on and win here because Djokovic just didn't see himself. But next thing you know, he starts serving a lot better and takes the final set 6-2. Hopefully, he does recover because you want to see the best people playing in the tournament. Let's be honest, it doesn't really matter if you're a fan of Nadal or whoever else, team, etc. You want to see the best in the tournament. Well, that's me anyway. Okay, let's go on to the other results. So Thiem Krygios, I want to touch upon at the end because for me, that was just a monster match. Let's go and talk about the clash of the Canadians. Shapovalov versus Olga Aliassime, and flipping heck. I mean, number 11 seed Shapovalov versus the 20th seed in Felix. And I was actually expecting it to be a lot closer than this. And I know the scoreline isn't terrible. I mean, he came through Felix in straight sets 7-5, 7-5, 6-3. But to me, I was expecting a 4 or 5 setter here. And I think, Shapovalov would have gone into that the favourite, really. And yeah, really, really impressive performance from Felix in straight sets. And he was actually my dark horse for this tournament, so I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. And fingers crossed he can go quite far because I'm a big fan of his. Sticking to the Canadian theme, Raonic, the 14 seed, came through in 4 against Fucsovic, who obviously had that incredible win in the against, Stan Wawrinka in 5. And Raonic, though, coming through that one 7-6, 5-7, 6-2, 6-2. So really impressive stuff from him. And a big shock. Diego Schwartzman, the number 8 seed, and let's say one of the fittest guys on tour. I mean, this guy is like the roadrunner. Anyway, he ended up losing in straight sets to unseeded Karatsev, 6-3, 6-3, 6-3. So big upset there. The number 8 seed falling in the third round. Lejovic, the Serbian, came through in 23 seed, 6-7, 7-5, 6-1, 6-4 against Martinez, who's unseeded as well from Spain. And then you have 2 very good matchups, I thought, on paper anyway. But Zverev came through against Manarino, the 32 seed from France, 6-3, 6-3, 6-1. And the number 6 seed now is going to be looking to, I think, carry on this pretty good form that he seems to have. And Dimitrov against Corona Busta. This was, for me, actually one of the pick'ems. Dimitrov, the 18 seed, and Corona Busta, the 15 seed. But Dimitrov actually beat him 6-love in the first set. And then it was a walkover at 1-love up to Dimitrov. And I think, let's be honest, not mostly, but Corona Busta was clearly carrying an injury and had to retire. So unfortunate to see a match end that way. And Dimitrov, though, I mean, he's a good player, isn't he? And he actually faces Thiem in the next round, and that's going to be the pick of, I think, the 4th round for me. It doesn't really matter what happens tomorrow. I think that's probably going to be my pick. Now, to end with Thiem versus Kyrgios. I mean, what a cracker. Seriously, what a cracker. It ended Thiem winning it 4-6, 4-6, 6-3, 6-4, 6-4. And I have to say to you, this was an absolute epic. It really was. I mean, the number 3 seed Dominic Thiem playing Kyrgios on his favourite court at home, the crowd influencing Kyrgios, really pushing him on, spurring him on. And Thiem said, this isn't one of, he said, this isn't the easiest thing to get through. playing Kyrgios on his favourite court with the home crowd. And he's seen Kyrgios, when he's got it on like this and he's turned it on like this, he's so tough to beat. And Kyrgios in those first two sets, I think, was incredible for me. Thiem didn't quite seem up to his usual standard. I think that's fair to say. He seemed a bit hesitant with his ground strokes and wasn't quite committing, and he was very far behind the baseline. I think he said at the end it's because he couldn't read Kyrgios' serve, who served very well in the first two sets. His first serve percentage started to go down a little bit after that, but he still served some very, very, I would say, big points well. So some very big first serves on important points, and he utilized the underarm serve, especially on the ad side, and it paid off most of the time. I could only really think of one or two times, but I think he utilized it maybe 10 times. That might be an exaggeration, but I think it probably is around that much. And it really worked. It worked because Team was so far back, and he managed to get a couple of aces from that, and also just set up the point nicely. He'll be disappointed because I think it was in the third or fourth set. I can't remember because I was watching it live. He actually had a breakback point when he was 4-5 down, and he shelled a couple of opportunities, and I think he might look back at that. But knowing him, he probably won't. I have to say, deep down, I love both these players equally. To be honest with you, I really like Thiem and I really like Kyrgios, and I was thinking I can't believe they're meeting each other so early, but for me, I kind of wanted, in a way, Kyrgios to win because I just wanted to see how far he could go. But without the crowd as well, I don't know whether that would have been a positive or negative for him because towards the end, he seemed to be a bit bothered almost by the crowd a little bit. But I mean, incredible display from both. And I just have to say, I hope Kyrgios carries on this type of form throughout the season because if he does, he'll win some titles. He will, if he can play that type of tennis. And for Thiem, I mean, he'll be really happy to come from two sets to love down. And I mean, what a display to come back and to finish off the match. I'll touch upon it in the awards and categories part of this video. Anyway, let's go on to the women's. So, the women's, I mean, not too many, as I said, not really any upsets for me. I think all the seeds who were expected to go through got through. So Simona Halep came through in straight set 6-1, 6-3. The number 2 seed, and she's going to be looking to march. I think she's fancying this. You can tell. Osaka, the number 3 seed, coming through against Jabor. That was probably for me. I would say that was the clash where you think maybe something might happen. The 27 seed from Tunisia, unfortunately, though, just wasn't able to play well enough, and Osaka just overpowering her 6-3, 6-2. Then you also had the French Open champion, Swiatek, coming through 6-4, 6-3, the number 15 seed from Poland, beating Ferro. Serena Williams coming through 7-6, 6-2 against Potapova. So really good stuff from Serena, and again, interested to see how far she can go. Muguruza, the number 14 seed, coming through 6-1, 6-1. And see who the 38-year-old coming through against Irani. That's really a battle of the veterans because Irani's, I think she must be late 30s as well, coming through 6-4, 2-6, 7-5. So she's through to the fourth round. So interesting to see how the Taiwanese player can do. She's unseeded. So really, really inspiring and interesting story. So I'll be keeping a tab on that. And Sabalenka, the number 7 seed, coming through 6-3, 6-1 against Lee. A really strong performance from her. And Vondrousova, the number 19 seed, coming through against Kirsty 6-2, 6-4. So no real upsets at all in the women's. I don't want to say I'm disappointed. I just think it's surprising, but fair play to all those involved. Okay, the fail of the day. This is an interesting one, because I wouldn't say there's too many that I can think on the top of my head, but one that I'll go for, and you can probably imagine that most of these awards are going to be centered around the Thiem Krygios match, is Kyrgios trying to play a tweener whilst coming into the net, and he did that a couple of times, and I say it's a fail, but it's just Kyrgios, isn't it, really? And there's a couple of times where he played it and he knew it was the wrong time to play it, and he just dumped the ball into the base of the net almost, and that was a strange one for me. I'm trying to think if there's any other things I can think of that might be a fail. I'm gonna stick with that. I'm gonna stick with that. Moment of the day. Oh man. I mean, again, sticking to that match, Dominic Thiem with an absolute bullet of a backhand down the line on the half volley, and he hit that a couple of times. And Kyrgios actually said in a number of points in the last couple of sets where Thiem won, he was just like, well played, too good, or fantastic serve, and like he wasn't being sarcastic, he was being honest. And there's a couple of backhands that Thiem hit. I mean, just so early and on the half volley, and just nailed them. And his one hander is just incredible. It really is. He didn't really let loose that backhand too much in this match, but at match point on his serve, when he was under pressure from Kyrgios, he pulled out the bag, and it was a fantastic shot down the line. And for me, that was the moment of the day, because you could just see the relief on his face, but also how much he really wanted it. And I think Kyrgios as well, it was a really nice moment where they came to the net and they obviously had that mutual respect. And both of them, I think, after the press conference had really good things to say about each other. So for me, that was the moment of the day, and really, really good to see. In terms of surprise of the day, I mean, you could say, of course, an upset is normally a surprise of the day. I think Djokovic having to go 5 against Fritz is a surprise, because you're expecting him. I mean, me personally, I'm expecting him to get through in straight sets, really. But yeah, that was a big one for me. But again, he was injured, so it's difficult to give it to that. And then obviously Schwartzman, the number 8 seed, losing in straight sets. That's a huge upset. That really is a huge upset. But actually, I'm going to go with Thiem. I think that was a fantastic performance, and not necessarily a surprise for me because he's my dark horse, but I just think it'll be a surprise to most people in the masses that he came through so easily on well, on paper anyway, 7-5, 7-5, 6-3 in straight sets against Chapeau, who, as I said, I think he would have gone into that the favourite. So fantastic win from Felix, and let's see how well he can do going forward. And I think that's going to be my surprise of the day. Thank you very much, guys. Apologies for it being slightly longer. I wanted to touch upon that Thiem Krygios from a more, I guess, slightly technical point of view, or give a bit more on that, because I just thought it was fantastic. And yeah, for me, what a day of tennis. There were some fantastic matches, and I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. And actually, in terms of the match to look out for tomorrow, there's a couple. Rublev versus Feliciano Lopez. I think that'll be a cracker. Khachanov versus Berrettini will be as well. But I think for me, Norrie versus Nadal will be the one that I'm looking out for, more just because I'm interested to see how the Brit can do. I'm a massive Nadal fan, so I will be shamelessly rooting for him, even though I'm from the UK. But yeah, some really good matchups tomorrow, especially in the men's, and in the women's. There's a few decent ones. There's some really good ones, to be fair. Actually, I mean, Barty versus Alexandrova, Bencic versus Mertens. That'll be quite equal, quite a equally matched one, anyway. So yeah, keep an eye out for those. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. Please make sure that you like, comment, and share this vids, and of course all the vids, not just this vid, and subscribe to the channel, please. It really does help. Click on the notification button, and yeah, I'll see you on the next video for day 6, I think it is, of the Aussie Open. And I can't